That's right, the Captain Marvel. Yeah, it did a phenomenal opening weekend, but I didn't look this week, but people did say it had a horrible drop off. I mean, I don't know what horrible is by today's standards because some people consider $100 million opening bad, but like I know it depends on the budget and everything else, but it could have very much to do with that. And there really, honestly, there really wasn't as much backlash as people think from I feel like I mean Brie Larson had a lot of backlash, but I don't think there was a whole lot of backlash from the James Gunn stuff. Like I feel like there was much money, like more people in on the James Gunn thing, like were on his side. You had the entire cast sign like a thing basically saying that they had his back, and Batista actually was like, "I'm going to quit the movies," and then he signed on. But well, I heard oh, it dropped off 72 per that's crazy. Most of the movies hold 60 to 70%. If it drops 72%, that's incredible. That's horrible. I did not know that. That is a tremendous drop off. Most movies consider 60 to 70% a good, like keeping 60 or 70%. That's total reversal to the extreme. That's pretty bad. But I can't really do the trivia thing until this show is up. It ain't there yet. Proper grammar. I even specifically looked because the trivia show, if I'm assuming, are you guys familiar with Schmoedown Trivia Challenge? I know my brother has, but I don't know if you do you mind if I call you Shin? Do you know? Because I can't Shin Regal. I'm assuming that's right. If I'm saying it right, yay. Hey, Steph. Can I call you Steph? I've asked you before. I just don't want to be calling you a nickname you don't appreciate. Steph is cool. I'm going to wait and see if you say it is. If it's not, I will call you Stephanie. But I have a cousin named Stephanie and I call her Steph. So you let me know. Steph is just fine. All right, Steph. But the Schmoedown is a thing. I will explain it and hope that it comes up soon. But it is basically on Collider. I'm sure a bunch of you heard of Collider. It is where I go for most of my movie news. I've been watching them for 2 or 3 years. Lots of people came from there. It's basically Christian Harloff and his friend Mark Ellis, who are big with Collider, basically started doing their own trivia show. It is in a format similar to wrestling. Like they have heels, which are like villains, and then they have your protagonist, and then they basically yell and scream at each other like actual wrestlers do. Like before the matches, they shit talk each other, they go crazy, but then instead of physically beating the crap out of each other, they actually just face off and do movie challenges. It started off like a joke. Like, I don't know. It's been around for years. Probably, I'm just guessing here, but I feel like at least I've been watching it for at least 3 or 4 years. That might have been when it started, but it might be a little before that. But when it started, it was rough around the edges. It had like a lot of, it was bad. It didn't look good, basically, is what I'm trying to say. It looked like my first videos. Not that my new videos are that much better. Maybe they are. I don't know. I always am one to want to improve things. But they basically just shit talk each other and then do movie trivia. But over the years, they have gotten tougher and tougher because they're running out of questions, I guess, and the competition's gotten much tougher. So based on all that, they've really upped the ante. Like, categories like Star Wars, for instance. I am a huge Star Wars fan. I know so much crazy stuff about Star Wars, but their questions in Star Wars have gone to another realm, like stuff I've never even heard of, because they've just asked so many questions based on Star Wars that it basically like it's just they all they have left are difficult ones. Please call me sir. Please call. Yep. Ray, are you telling me to call you? Or are you actually telling me to call you sir? Oh, you're joking. I literally was like, did I do something wrong? Do I have to call you? Sorry about that. Sorry, Ray. I'm like, is there something like, am I like not heard or seen? Sorry for that pause. But yeah, no, it's basically like I mean, it's getting really big now. They actually, as of like a year ago, it's called Movie Trivia Schmoedown. They have their own channel. As of like a year ago, they actually branched off. They're still part of Collider, I want to say, but Christian Harloff still hosts a lot of Collider shows, stuff like that. But basically, they've branched off and they've gone mainstream. They have their own Patreon. I saw like Booker T and all these wrestlers. Like, I don't know if you guys follow UFC, but what the heck's his name? One of the ex champions of UFC watches all the time, and he calls in and like loves it. He raves about it all the time. And he like basically everyone's jumping on board. They have hundreds of thousands of like fans now, subscribers. They're traveling the world. They were in New York not too long ago. I wish I could have made it, but I didn't. They do shows all the time in California. They're going to Chicago in a month. So they're getting like a huge following, and their production values went way up. If you guys haven't seen it, I will react to one just so people know what it is, because I want to do a lot of these. There's one that is going to be live. It's a pay-per-view next Saturday. It's the 23rd. I think that's next Sunday. Wait, might be Monday. Not sure the day there, but they're doing a live one that you have to actually, it's like $3. You do it. It's like a pay-per-view and they stream it live. And I want to do that one. That's why I did this one as sort of like a prep for that. But I honestly think I know a great deal about movies, and I want my knowledge I want to test it. I watch these. I've probably watched every one for 3 years. I feel like I get at least 80% of the answers right, which seems to me like that is enough to win most of these. Like I said, the competition has gotten much better over the years, but I still feel like I can hold my own. So I wanted you guys to see me in action, but they're not letting me do it. And I can't even do an older one because I've seen them all, I'm pretty sure. I keep looking up here because that's where my TV is. But if they, I think it's up. Oh, no, that's an old one. I just totally got my hopes up. They posted an old one for some reason. Why, guys? But anyway, that's basically what the Schmoedown is. I'm just going to hang out and talk to you guys till it pops up. I'm totally distracted by this. If it doesn't pop up, then I'll figure out why and I'll reschedule it. But as far as the rest, I don't know. You guys have any questions? You want to talk to me? You want to say anything? Because as it stands right now, I was supposed to be answering trivia right now. So I don't know. But you guys have anything you want to say? I know Steph's been commenting a lot. Steph and me are best buddies, even though we never met. I forget, Steph, do you watch Umbrella? Evening. Hello. I'm having trouble saying. What other shit did you get from Monster Mania? Good idea, Ray. Awesome. It's all right here because I still haven't made the video on it yet. But while we are waiting for this to drop, I'm still like very curious. In the Wire, I'll get to some of that, Ray, right now. But In the Wire, I just finished episode 6. I think I just finished 6. I haven't edited or posted it yet, but it's going up tomorrow. Watching it for it. Yeah, okay. I wasn't. Did you, Steph? I don't know, Steph. Do you watch The Wire too? I know we've had a lot of conversation about Umbrella Academy stuff. I don't think you watch The Wire, though. Either that, or you just don't ask anything or comment, or you do, and I just am meshing it all together. Any plans for what you react to The Wire? What you will react to after The Wire? What will I react to after The Wire? See, here's the problem, guys. The Wire has spoiled me because it is so lenient on the editing that like I wish I could just do Wire all day long, all the time, because The Wire is just so lenient. Better Call Saul. I don't want you guys to think I don't like the show, because I hate that you guys voted and you picked the show and I try to do it. I have been constantly trying to edit episode 1 down. It is like Russian doll. I don't know what I'm doing wrong with certain shows seem to just click. Better Call Saul, I don't know what I'm doing. I've taken out the audio. I've clipped it down to 5 minutes an episode, which is It's an hour-long show. 5 minutes is like it's like I have to do that, I don't even wanna do it. It, like, takes the fun out of it. So, like, shows like The Wire, I find so appealing because I could do three-parters, I could blast the music, they don't fault me for audio, but right now, Better Call Saul's on hold. As far as what I wanna do next, I'm thinking maybe Dexter, because Dexter I just noticed that I watch, what is it called? Blind Wave. I watch Blind Wave reactors. They just started doing Dexter. Dexter was one of the ones I wanted to do because no one else did it. But now Blind Wave is doing it. So I don't want to copy them. But at the same token, I'm thinking Dexter might be like The Wire, where it's very lenient because it's a much older show. And the copyright bans might be a more lenient thing. But I don't know. Are you guys into Dexter? Like, would that be something cool? Oh my God. Omar's outfit. I don't want to get too much into it because uh I want to save it for the reaction, but I will have it posted either later today or tomorrow. But Omar, Omar is a gem. Omar is an absolute gem. I'm sure the parts of it, put the video on Vimeo. Yeah, see, I didn't set up a Patreon or anything like that yet, but I definitely have to. I totally see why I honestly thought that Patreon was created for people to make money. But I mean, of course it is. So that's why I was like, I really don't care. But now I get it. A lot of people create Patreon just because it's an easier way of getting you guys content without the bombardment of copyright and everything else. So it definitely has its pluses. I just honestly, I just didn't have the time. Like whenever I have free time, I want to pump like content out. And it's like, I mean, maybe it's simple to start a Patreon. It probably is. And I have to do it eventually. It's just one of those things where I'm like, should I start a Patreon or should I do another Wire or should I do another Umbrella Academy? And then I'm like, well, I'm almost done with Umbrella Academy. When I'm done with that, I'll start the Patreon. But I know that's not going to happen. I'm just going to jump into the next thing and it's never going to happen. So definitely got to do the Patreon thing. I see you're saying Vimeo and have discussion on YouTube. See, maybe like Vimeo, I've heard that. Am I saying it wrong? Vimeo, I don't know. I've definitely seen Real Rejects do that a lot. Real Rejects are another reaction guys. Love them. They do Vimeo. They actually were promoting it a lot on their sites before I even started doing this. I'm not familiar with it. I think it's an app or something. I'm assuming it's kind of the same thing with Patreon, just like maybe easier to use. You could do it right off your phone. So I'm not exactly sure on that, but I'll look into that. But I mean, if Patreon's the same thing, I just rather do a Patreon. Then I could even send you guys the full episodes of The Wire. Like I have all the full episodes of The Wire. I could probably put them on YouTube right now and they wouldn't even ban me because I have never, no matter what I do with The Wire, never got a single problem or a ban yet on The Wire. So maybe I'll just do that or send them to Patreon so you guys can check those out. I'm sure that's part of it. Just did it to a lot of channels done so far. Dexter was great for the first 3 seasons. I'm sure that's part. I missed what Ray said somewhere. Could be that it's just an older show. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think it's just that it's an older show. See the Dexter thing too, Ray. A lot of people said that, like everyone I talked to said the first 3 seasons. Then they said it slowly degrades, and then the last season is like a huge letdown or just not as good or something. I don't know. I've heard that's the problem with Dexter, that I don't want to do a show like The Wire. People say has like season 2 is some people's least favorite, but some people claim it's the best once you rewatch it or something like that. But then they progressively get better, and the show as a whole is praised. So based on that, I wanted to see The Wire. It's on everyone's top 10. Dexter is very rarely, if ever, on anyone's top 10 because you can't put a show like that on a top 10 if half the seasons are mediocre at best. So basically, Dexter scares me a little because of that. Now, I haven't done one of them that always comes up is Deadwood. I've never seen Deadwood. I only know that guy who was in one episode of Game of Thrones, what the heck's his name? The guy that I don't want to spoil in case anyone hasn't seen Game of Thrones, but he was also in Death Race. He was like Jason Statham's like mechanic on Death Race. What's that actor? Leah McShane, something McShane. Ian McShane. Thank you, Steph. So Ian McShane is in it. I've never seen Deadwood. Might be good to try. Honestly, I'm impressed how you watch The Wire on the yeah, honestly, I am one. This is Hail in, what is it? Hail in the Snow. I can't read it. My eyes are horrible. Howlin'. Sorry, but the last name's Snow. I'm horrible at pronunciation, but I basically just Snow is fine. Thank you. Snow. I normally would been. I mean, if you guys saw my first videos were Russian Doll, I literally stayed up till 3 a.m, binge watched every episode, and then found out the cruel reality that you cannot just throw videos up and be like, done. They will ban you and you have to do re-edits till the sun comes up. And it was miserable. It was miserable. So I will never do that again with a show. Now that I'm comfortable with The Wire, I could feasibly marathon it, but it's also one of those things where like, then I'd get nothing else out. And I've had some people yell at me for getting too much content out. People actually have like come up to me, friends of mine, people I know have been like, dude, I'm going to unclick the notification bell because some days you post nothing and some days you have like 9 videos. Like specifically the one day, I think I marathoned the end of season 1 of The Wire. I pumped out like 4 episodes and 3-parters. So there was like 10 or 12 episodes of The Wire in one day. Granted, that's a little excessive, but if you guys don't want to watch them, you don't have to watch them. I didn't think it would create a problem where people would get mad. And some people apparently didn't like that. So I've tried to ease back my excessive content because the problem is I am self-employed. Some days I work 16 hours. Some days I work no hours. And I don't know that till the day before. So it isn't like I could plan accurately. If you guys ever see me, like, I'll say like Wednesday, The Wire goes out. Sometimes it'll be out at like 6 o'clock on Wednesday. Sometimes it'll be out at like 1 a.m. the next day, but technically it's still my Wednesday. But it's one of those things where like, I just don't know. I don't have like a set schedule. I cannot believe the trivia thing is still not up. Don't worry. I am paying attention. The trivia thing is just not up, guys. The most vocal people are usually the weirdest. You could do the format when you put the video, blah, blah, blah. Are you going to keep a show on full? Watch along after Umbrella. After Deadwood is all Deadwood's very, I heard Deadwood's very cool. And the fact that a movie's coming out, I'm pretty sure it's confirmed. Maybe one of you guys could tell me. I didn't look too much into it because I never watched the show and I don't want to spoil it, but I'm pretty sure the movie is a definite confirmation with all the actors returning. If that's correct, then it makes me even more so want to watch Deadwood because the ability to be spoiled is that much higher if a movie comes out. Like, for instance, they're coming out with a movie for The Sopranos. Oh, I thought it just glitched. They're coming out with a movie for The Sopranos, and I've seen all of them. I've seen Sopranos multiple times from beginning to end, and it is confirmed. Okay, cool. Thanks, Shin. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Soprano movie. It's going to have James Gandolfini's son playing young Tony Soprano. I think that's awesome. But like, if I hadn't watched The Sopranos, I'd probably marathon it right now because I want to be informed on what it is before I see the movie. Hence why Deadwood is a strong option for the next show I watch. HBO's made Deadwood movie that's coming. Blah, blah, blah. Just Snow is fine. And honestly, Deadwood is HBO. HBO was The Wire. Deadwood is old. Now, the only reason Deadwood might not be as lenient is because of the movie coming up. But I'd also feel like they'd want to hype the movie up and get people talking about it. So maybe doing a show like Deadwood is a good idea. Also because, as far as I know, maybe you guys could tell me this too, but I don't think anyone's reacted to Deadwood. Has anybody reacted to Deadwood yet? I don't think so. Show full. And Ray, as far as Ray's comment, I will... From here on, I probably will do full reactions, watch alongs like Umbrella Academy. It's just more convenient to send out a full reaction for those of you that like that, and then do the abridged for those of you that like that. I could see you liking both ways, and I myself have watched reactions of full and abridged versions, so it makes sense to do both. I probably will for the next show just keep doing that kind of format. The only reason I don't for The Wire is because I'm already doing 3 parts, which is 10 minutes each, which is basically more than half the episode to begin with. And there is a lot of downtime in The Wire. So the to do full episodes would be kind of pointless. For real, that would be interesting. I want to see young Uncle Junior. Yeah, a young Uncle June. And I honestly, what I'm looking forward to in the Sopranos movie is Christopher's father. What the heck was his name? What did they call him? What was Christopher's father's nickname? Christopher Moltisanti. I remember his full name, but I cannot remember his father's name. He had a nickname, and I think he was dead before the show even started. Nicky Moltisanti, Nicky, but he had like a nick. I think Nicky had a nickname. I think Nicky had a nickname, but Christopher is one of those guys you love to hate. Sometimes he was great, but then he would beat his girlfriend and everything else. Not a good person, always on drugs, back and forth. But his father is probably one of the main causes he was the way he was. So I'm very curious to see Nicky Moltisanti. Shin, I have seen Justified, one of my favorite. I'm going to literally grab something for 2 seconds just to show you. Oh, that was my leg. Sorry, I bashed my leg into my thing. This is the actual Raylan Givens hat from Justified. I liked Justified so much that I bought, I mean, it's not the one he wore, but it is a exact replica of Raylan Givens' hat from Justified. I have it sitting over there all the time on my little speaker stand. I think I've worn it once. I am afraid to dirty it. As funny as that is, because Raylan was a drunken, dirty man who fought all the time. I'll throw that on the floor for now. But yeah, very into Justified. I feel like it was very underappreciated. No one I know has, very few people I know have seen that show, but I loved it. It was like a beer drinking, bar brawling kind of guy show. I think it lasted 3 seasons, 4 seasons, and I feel like they summed it up pretty good. I just wish there was more, but I'll take what I could get. At least it existed. And I love Timothy Oliphant, who was Raylan. Awesome actor. Where's he been? What happened to Timothy? Did he get a huge payday with Justified and then stopped? I don't know. That was weird. Chrissy is my favorite character. The Sopranos, piece of shit for sure, but damn great character. I definitely agree. It's like you always have the characters like that in these shows that are like huge pieces of shit or assholes, but it's like without them, what is the show? You don't want a show where it's like everyone's like loving, lovey-dovey, cookie-cutter versions of everything else in your life. Well, I mean, these people Christophers really exist, so we got to have them. Oh, yeah. Walton Goggins I believe that was like his first thing, right? I'm pretty sure was he in anything before that? Because that had to have started his career. And the show, yeah, it had to have started his career. And then when he was, I don't want to ruin it for people, but if you know the show, then you know what I'm talking about. When he put on a costume, so to speak. Oh my God. I remember watching that episode and I was totally unsure if it was him or not. And then when I read it, I was like, oh my God, he is that man. Ridiculous, but definitely funny nonetheless. And it was very good. What have we got over here? Show on Netflix. Oh my God, that's right. The Santa Clarita Diet. I totally forgot. I've never seen it. Maybe that's something. Well, we're talking, what is that, Netflix? That might be like a rush. I don't know though, because it's a little older. Is that still running? Is Santa Clarita Diet still running? Or is that done with? Because that's an option. I love Drew Barrymore. I love Timothy Oliphant. I never got around to watching it. And I do dig horror, zombies, gore. That's an option. Yeah. Walter Goggins got the role in The Hateful Eight. Awesome. Besides Sam, there was a lot of good guys in Hateful Eight. Sam Jackson, Kurt Russell, Timothy Roth. Oh my God, that was like The Hateful Eight, I feel, gets underappreciation because of how many great movies Quentin Tarantino has done. Hateful Eight is up there in my personal. I mean, you got, oh my God, there is so many good Quentin Tarantino movies, though. A lot of good Quentin Tarantino. Ah, see, I have never seen The Shield. Was Goggins like a regular character or was he like a nobody? You could tell me, like little spoilers like that, no big deal. Was he like a main guy, Walter Goggins in The Shield? And Snow, I agree with you that three parters I figured was right in the sweet spot for The Wire because there's so much talking that I feel like I miss certain things if I don't do three parters. But at the same token, if I did more than that, there's just way too much filler. I find that I edit it with ease. It's almost like when I'm done with like episodes are 60 minutes. So you'd figure 20 minutes have to break down into 10-minute segments. Every time I edit it, it's almost like intentional, but not that like I'll edit part one and I'll be like, how much I got left. And it's exactly like 40 minutes left. So there's just enough where half of it is unneeded and it works out perfectly. So the three parters with The Wire, I wish I could do three parters to every show. It makes my life easier. It gives you guys more content and I don't get bans and stuff with The Wire. Oh, The Wire spoiled me. Had I started with Umbrella Academy and not had The Wire, I don't know. The Wire might not be like it is now because I learned that I could do three parters before Umbrella Academy. It might have totally skewed the whole way I do things, but happy it worked out like the way it did. He was one of the stars. Okay. So that's cool. That actually makes me want to watch The Shield more. See, like that's not a spoiler to me because if anything, The Shield, my father used to watch The Shield. He loved it. What the hell's the guy's name? Who's the bald guy that plays the main guy? He was the Thing in Fantastic Four. That's all I know him as. But I mean, I'm sure he was in a lot of other things too. But yeah, no, my father watched it back when it would air on live television. Well, not live television, but you know what I mean. And he would always be like, yo, you don't watch this show because in all honesty, I was always watching things. And like there was just certain things I didn't. Chicklist, Michael Chicklist. There you go. Thank you, Shin. So yeah, no, it's just one of those shows. I don't know what year it came out, but there was clearly something else I watched that made me not watch The Shield, I guess. I cannot believe they have not released this trivia thing yet. Just in case you guys are wondering, I specifically looked if it said Eastern or Pacific time because I didn't want to schedule this for 4 if it's actually on at 7 because there's 3-hour time difference from LA. It said 4 p.m. Eastern. The only thing I could think is that something because Collider runs it all. Christian Harloff has a live show from 1 to 3 and then was supposed to post it at 4. I'm wondering if all this James Gunn news, because they're doing live things right now on YouTube. All the other channels are doing like live things about James Gunn. So I'm wondering if that put a hold on my trivia show. But anyway, The Shield is on my list. Still haven't seen it yet. Definitely got to see. I mean, honestly, between everyone voting and people talking about it, The Shield is definitely on my list for things I got to see. If anyone knows how many seasons of The Shield are there, I want to say I looked and I think it was 5 or 6 seasons of The Shield. I think I watched The Shield after it was on. I was surprised by how good it was. Yeah, I mean, I have heard nothing bad about The Shield. It's not on everyone's top 10, but it's on enough lists where it interests me and I definitely want to check it out. Have you seen Maniac? I did see Maniac on Netflix. I just looked it up at 7. Thank you, Steph. 7. All right. I honestly thought it was 5 or 6. 7. Now, without spoiling, for those of you who've seen The Shield, is it one of those shows that basically they ended because it wasn't holding its own, or are all 7 seasons like pretty solid? Like Dexter isn't. Is The Shield pretty solid all 7 seasons? Even if it diminishes, I'm still cool with that as long as like season 7 ain't like season 7 was miserable and you just kind of got to get through it. But as long as it's pretty solid all around. How many episodes? I mean, how many seasons of Deadwood are there? I want to say 3. I know it wasn't a long running show. I feel like people back then said like, "Oh my God." They like, I feel like they almost cut Deadwood short. Like it was at a high or at least increasing in viewers, and then they cut it. I forget. I feel like I remember hearing in the news that it was like that they just kind of like abruptly cut it and people were pissed. Hence why maybe they have a movie. But maybe it had to do with actors or like the fees, or HBO just wanted to like cut it. Starts again, ends up getting worse each year. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm trying to think of an example of a show like, I don't know if you guys like House of Cards. Which one is House of Cards is Kevin Spacey, correct? I think House of Cards is Kevin Spacey. I always get confused with that and the Don Cheadle one, which was House of Lies, I think. Yeah, okay. Kevin Spacey was House of Cards. I've seen House of Lies with Don Cheadle. I have never seen House of Cards. I was literally going to start watching it. The Shield, that is. I thought all of the seasons. Okay, The Shield, all the seasons were pretty solid. Okay, that's good to know. As far as what was I just talking about? House of Cards. I literally was going to start watching that show last year. And then all the Kevin Spacey stuff came out and they fired Kevin Spacey and then abruptly ended the show. And it totally, not because of Kevin Spacey, granted, everything he did, horrible. And I don't agree with it 100%. But that's not why I didn't watch the show. I didn't watch the show not because, like, I'm not one to not watch something because of people involved. Because the way I look at it is there are thousands of people involved. They didn't know what he was doing, or at least most of them didn't know what he was doing. So to me, to not watch his content is only punishing thousands of other people who put hard work and effort into it. So I do not condone anything that Kevin Spacey did, clearly. But at the same token, I feel like not watching his content will diminish what other people have done. And it's a sin, but it's like, it's horrible. But that's not why I didn't watch the show. I didn't watch it because I was like, oh, is this going to be one of those shows that just abruptly ends and they cut it short because of what it is? And I don't like that. So season 2's finale could double as a season finale. Series. Oh, definitely recommend the first two seasons of House of Cards are okay. So it's basically kind of like a Dexter thing where like the first couple seasons are stellar and then you could do it out. Like some people have literally told me just watch the first 3 seasons of Dexter and pretend the rest doesn't exist. Like a lot of people. Like it's not like some people are like, oh, they're just being stubborn. Like I don't know of anybody that hasn't told me like just watch the first 3 seasons and then make your own ending. That's kind of what it sounds like with House of Cards. And maybe I'll just do one of those things where I watch it. Like I've seen a lot of reactors where they watch something and then it ain't cutting it anymore and they just drop it. So like that's an option as well. Oh, John Lithgow was in a season? Interesting. I'm assuming, Ray, you mean John Lithgow and not the other Lithgow that doesn't exist in any world. I don't think there is ever another famous Lithgow, but so goes, and then meh. Yep. But no, I don't know, guys. It don't look like this trivia. I'm sorry for my improper grammar. It doesn't look like this movie. I'll keep talking to you guys if you want. I just feel bad that the whole point was to check out movie trivia. But I would even say you guys can throw me some questions if you want, but it's not as fun if it's not incorporated with the show. I mean, you guys could throw me trivia if you want, by all means, but so goes the thing. Yep. Yeah, that was a good season. Probably the last good season. So John Lithgow. I never knew he was in Dexter. Monster Mania toys. All right. This is what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to show you some of the Monster Mania toys. Then I'll throw this video up on my channel in case anyone wants to know. Also, before I get into that, let me fix my shirt. It's so hard to figure things out on this. Sorry, guys. I'm just your average dude trying to fix his shirt. But anyway, I just posted, that was not a coincidence that I posted my Marvel top 10 through 6. I was supposed to post it 2 hours ago so that people would see that I was doing the trivia thing. So they'd be like, oh, here's a new video by Jay. And oh, he's also doing a live thing. I got an emergency job and had to run out. So by the time I edited down the first half of the top 10 Marvel movies, I barely got it out right before the thing happened, and then I couldn't figure out how to get into the right stream and everything. But right now, after you guys watch this and everything, I'm only going to do this like another 10 minutes unless the trivia pops up. But there is the top 10 Marvel movies, not MCU. MCU only had 21 movies MCU in the last 10 years. That's a lot. That's like over 2 movies a year. Crazy to think of. But Marvel movies, theatrically released Marvel movies, there are 54 Marvel movies that were theatrically released. That's crazy to me. There are also B movies by the dozens that I didn't include clearly. Not if, well, put it this way, even if I included them, they wouldn't make the list. So, all right, they include all of the movies. But basically, there is a top 10. Part 1 will be out later tonight. I didn't edit it yet because I had to do this. But you could see that if you want. I have my list is personal. It's not based off of the greatest cinematic masterpieces ever. It's my personal list. See, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man's Homecoming was good, and I dug Michael Keaton as Vulture. Sam Raimi's movies were great. I just wasn't I'm a fan of Spider-Man, don't get me wrong. It's just that I was such a comic book fan that Spider-Man might rank in my top 10, but like the other, like I'm a bigger fan of like Wolverine, Iron Man, the Hulk, Punisher. So like Spider-Man just by default gets lowered in the ranks. Amazing character, love his movies, everything else. But I would say the Sam Raimi movies were as a whole the best trilogy and maybe the best movies. Well, I don't. Homecoming fits in there somewhere. Not like Homecoming definitely beats 3, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3. But I don't know, Spider-Man 1 and 2, I definitely dig the feels and stuff. And it always has a nostalgic place in my heart because it was the first at least for me, it was the first. So definitely dig that kind of stuff. But yeah, that video is up there. Part 2 will be out later today. I'm going to show you some of my Monster Mania stuff because I never did the video and I might not do the video, but you guys, I mean, maybe I'll do the video. I don't know, but I'll show you a couple things. There was a guy at Monster Mania that did these things, which I thought was freaking awesome. They're like foam cutouts. And he basically, I mean, you can see what it is. It is Roddy Piper from They Live. All I want to do is chew bubblegum and kick ass or whatever the heck he says. Roddy, yep, there you go. I specifically bought ones like this because he was like, I cannot ship these. He has a website, he sells them, but these he will not ship. You can only buy them at conventions because it will break. Like you could see the Gunn. He's like, I won't even risk shipping them because I've done it in the past and everyone complains. It always ends up breaking and he doesn't want to deal with it. So if you want ones like this, you can only get them from the guy at his conventions. And he used to live on the East Coast where I live, but he moved to Cali. So now I can only get these at like major conventions because I don't know anyone else that does stuff like this. But there's ones of everybody. And if he doesn't have it, you email him or go on his site and he lets you know if he could do it or not. And 99% of the time he will do it. So these I thought were awesome. Ow, were awesome. Sorry, I just choked. They Live. This isn't even one of my favorite movies. I just love Roddy Piper. And the fight scene in this is still on the top 10, like probably most epic fight scenes. It lasted, I might be exaggerating and it's bigger in my mind because I watched it as a kid, but I feel like the fight scene with him and the other guy went on for like 10 or 12 minutes. That could be wrong, but I feel like that's it, like real time. So that was one of these. There was another one of these I got that was my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street. Even though it's cheesy and everything else, who knows what this is? I'm going to do a little trivia for you guys. Which Nightmare on Elm Street is this for horror fans out there? There's only 7 or 8 of you watching, but one of you should be able to get this. Nope, it is not part 4, right? You must leave the chat and you are not my brother anymore. This is like, if you knew, see, I'm like such a fan of Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, it is the Dream Warriors part 3. I was going to say, if you know the movies like I do, it's the only Freddy movie where they incorporated a team of people, as far as I can remember. Not a horror fan, but I'm going to guess 3. Very good, Snow. You got 3. See, Ray got the title, but you got the number. So, Snow, you get the prize for the number. It was 5 minutes. It was 5 minutes real time. The fight scene with Roddy Piper. See, in my mind, it's funny how when you're a kid, it blows up. In my mind, I'm like, it was half the movie. But okay, 5 minutes real time. That's pretty crazy. I've never seen a single film though. That's very good, Snow, that you got it. Very good. If you've never seen a single one, that you could get that it was 3. I mean, maybe you've just seen this. I mean, this is the stereotypical look for part 3. So maybe you're just a fan of movies and noticed through the grapevine. But this is Dream Warrior. That's usually about everyone's favorite. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the others. But yeah, this one you could say. These ones he'll ship. These ones he will actually ship. But they're pretty thick foam. Like, they're like solid. Like, I was afraid I'd break it carrying it home. But like, I whacked them around the convention a lot. Like, they were in a bag. I was smacking them into things, forgetting they were there. These ones will ship, even though it's got like, I asked him about like stuff like this coming out. And he was like, nah, little things like that, if I package it right, as long as it is solid as a whole, it'll sustain. So ones like this, they're all the same price. They were, I think, $12 a piece, which is nothing. If you consider the time and effort this guy puts into this, like $12 to get your favorite movie, like stand up, I think that's ridiculously cheap. But I would have bought more. I didn't want to carry all this stuff back. And I had a lot of stuff. So then there were these. Mind you, it was a horror convention. So he takes, that's a glare on my TV. How do I show you guys this? I don't know if you guys could see it. It is a 3D video game. He frames NES. That's not the real NES game. He like basically remakes a 3D image. You could kind of see the 3D image like that if I do it. Let me close my screen just for a brief second. I'm going to close my shades. Yoink. All right. Now there's no glare. So now you can see better. Or maybe that's not from the shades. Well, oh my God, it's from my TVs. There we go. But if I turn like this, you could see the 3-dimensional Freddies and stuff like that. These were a little pricier. They come framed. They're like solid frames, though. They're like fucking heavy duty. And I mean, you got to just assume the amount of work that goes into them. These were they were $40 a piece. But I bought 2 of them. So he gave me a deal. I got them for 30 a piece. But I mean, it's like, it isn't even like whether it's worth it or not. In my mind, it's like these guys are being creative and doing crazy stuff. And it's like, I want to reward people for their time and effort. And like, it doesn't matter to me what it costs. Like, I thought it was cool. I wanted it. You did good, sir. So you get my money. I have Friday the 13th too. You guys can see that one. It's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, this one's like, I mean, he does it for, now mind you, he doesn't just do it for horror movies. He does it for every NES and SNES game. But yeah, you can see like how the 3-dimensional thing, it looks so much cooler in person. It's just hard to see it from here. But one of my favorites he had at the convention was Super Mario Kart for SNES. And he had I think he said it was 24 by 18, had all of the Mario Kart drivers, and they were all 3D, framed, thicker frame than that, but he wanted $150 for it. If you have watched my gaming videos, Super Mario Kart is probably one of my favorite games of all time. I have probably invested more hours into Super Mario Kart than any game ever. I would come home from high school, sit my butt in a chair, play it for like 10 hours straight, to the point where me and my brother actually had scores in Nintendo Power. I remember specifically one course that I had like top score at, and they actually put my score in Nintendo Power. So I played that game ridiculous amounts, but $150 for like a frame. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll buy it, or I'll make a deal with him on the next one or something. But I just couldn't see myself spending $150 on a framed Mario Kart thing. Last but not least, these guys. You've probably seen them pop up in a lot of my videos, but they are horrific Care Bears. This guy literally takes real Care Bears. See the butt? Real Care Bear. He takes, not much of a gamer, but occasionally I'll play old school NES. Yeah, like he had all the Mega Mans. This guy had every Mega Man, all the Zeldas, everything. Just playing them. Yeah, like that was his main, like all the main staples he had, all the Mario Brothers, all the Zeldas, all the Mega Mans and Kid Icarus, stuff like that. Yeah, the Alien Bear. This one to me was the easiest to make probably, but it was just as much as like these guys and stuff because I guess because he knows he's going to sell it and make money. But Alien, big time favorite of mine, Alien, and it is a legit licensed face hugger toy that is literally he ripped the face out of the Care Bear and stuck it on, and it is done well. Like you can't see, and even this, see, like that's glue over here. He told me that was intentionally done to look like the goo that falls off the hugger. Because I was like, why don't you just cut that out or I could pull it off? He goes, no, don't do it. Like that's there intentionally. So that's not even a mistake. Honestly, I might take it off just because it looks like a mistake, but it was done intentionally. But yeah, that's like the face hugger one. And this one, and that's Champ Bear if you're a fan of Care Bears. I have in my attic somewhere these guys really from when I was a kid. I'm one day going to dig them out and put them side by side, but I have these from when like 30 years ago, 25 years ago. And this was Bright Heart Raccoon, ripped his face out, threw in eyes with eyebrows and a vicious mouth, but it's done really well. Like you can't see where it is like faded in, but I thought they were ridiculously cool. I was a huge fan of Care Bears as a child. So these were really cool. These were $40 a piece. So, I mean, you got to figure they cost 20, 25 in the store just for the Care Bear. Then he's got to buy the licensed toys and the face and stuff. He's got to do all that work. These guys are doing, like, in my mind, they're doing all that work for like peanuts. It's like, what am I going to do? Bargain you down to $35? Like, here's my $40, bud. Like, they put the time in, so they deserve my money. I'm always a fan of contributing to the art. Like this is art. This is all forms of art. And I throw him on his face, and he's over there on his face now. But oh my God, they just released the movie trivia, but it's not the right one. All right, guys. Do you want me? They just released a movie trivia 4 minutes ago. It is a new one, but it's not the championship match I wanted to do. Should I start it? If I cut out the intros and stuff, see, here's the thing. I'll make a reaction to one so you guys could see how it goes, but I don't know how to get it on the screen when I'm doing live. So do you guys want me to do the live trivia? You could hear it. I'll put it on my TV. You'll hear the trivia. You'll hear the questions, and I'm watching it. You know, I'm not cheating because I've been talking to you guys the whole time, and you could see it just dropped 4 minutes ago. So do you guys want me to do this trivia, or have I been talking too long and you got things to do? You guys let me know if I should do the trivia, and I will wait on that. Because I pretty much showed you all the toys anyway. The only thing left is the Dolph Lundgren shorts that I signed. And you guys have probably seen the video. How long do they usually take? Honestly, 15 minutes. If I take out all they're 40-minute long videos, but the first 20 minutes is them basically shit talking each other. And the last 10 minutes is the after interviews. So it's literally like 10 or 15 minutes tops that these trivias go on for. So if you got 10 or 15 minutes, all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically, I don't know how long, this might be loud. Let me, I'm going to test it out before I get to the questions so you guys could hear the questions. And then you guys let me know. And then we're going to see how good I do. I want people to witness. And I could do horrible. I could do horrible right now. Like you guys, hold up. I don't want it to distract me. But I mean, I could literally do horrible. There's once or twice that I've done miserable. Like, here's you're not supposed to say your flaws. Here's my flaws. James Bond. There is a category called James Bond. I don't think I've seen anything be after or before the Pierce Brosnan Bonds. Maybe one or two Bond movies I've seen before Pierce Brosnan. Just never really got into it. So if it's like 90s or newer, I'm good. I've seen all the Daniel Craig ones and stuff like that, but I've seen like one Sean Connery one and one Timothy Dalton one. I know the guys, I just don't know the movies. So though that is my flaw. And actors' names, even though you guys see I know a lot, you could also see if you watch my stuff that I blank a lot on actors' names. I think that's an unfair category. To me, actors' names is not movie knowledge. That is, I mean, it is in the realm, but like, I'm a fan of movies, not real. That's the real names. I'm not a fan of real life. Like, I mean, I'm a fan of real life, but like, that's not what it is. It's movie trivia. So I do have my flaws. Roger Moore was the other one. All right. So I'm going to zip ahead. Then I want you guys to tell me if you could hear the questions. And then as long as you can, we'll go from there. Now, see, I'm already zipping through. We're like 15 minutes in and the thing hasn't even started yet. So that's how much of it is actually. All right. So now I'm going to start. It's going to say the rules. You guys let me know if you could hear it well.
Make a name for myself, and I love it. All right, we are almost here.
Can you guys hear that?
Getting ready for round one. Let me read the rules of round one. Round one, you each are going to get 8 questions in different categories. We'll let you know those categories before we read the questions.
All right, I'll put it up a little louder.
Question is worth 1 point. If you get all 8 right, you get a bonus question just for you. If you both get it all right, we'll have bonus questions just for you. It's going to be exciting. Also, don't forget one of the most important things in this game. Some use it for strategy. Some use it just because they need it. The JTE rules, name for the famed Ecuadorian film reviewer.
These are the rules if you're not paying attention.
Dog owner Josh Tapia, a legend in the league.
Thumbnail extraordinaire.
You get 3 repeats. You say you want the rule, we'll re-ask it. That is that.
I'll go over the rules. I'll pause it.
Liz, are you both?
All right, I'm going to go over just in case you couldn't understand that or I was talking over it. The way the show goes is each question you get 1 point. If you missed it or you don't understand it or you miss some of the questions, get multiple choice. If you answer it without multiple choice, you'll know which ones. The first round, there's no multiple choice. Second round, there's multiple choice. If you need multiple choice, you get 1 point. If you don't, you get 2. And then you are allowed 3 times to repeat the answers of the multiple choice or the question itself in any round. So you only get 3 repeats. Everything's worth a point, except if you answer the first round, everything's worth a point. Second round is multiple choice, but if you answer without, you get 2. Then I'll explain the third round, and there's only 3 rounds. First round, it'll probably go pretty quick. So here we go. Everyone I get right is 1 point, and they're not going to shout it out. They have to write it on a board that none of us could see, and then the guy will ask, "Show me your answers." So it's not like I'm watching them or they're just going to blurt it out and I have to beat them. All I got to do is just get it in before the countdown. So here we go, guys. Everyone understand? We're good? Thumbs up. All right. Good enough. Even though I didn't get one, but I know you guys are good. So here we go. It is going to start. I'm just going to be totally quiet so you guys could hear, and then we're going to hear the questions. Here it goes.
Ready.
Let's do this.
As I'll ever be.
Confidence.
Then let's get ready to Schmoedown.
As you can see, it's wrestling.
3 rounds to the finish. 3 rounds to the finish. First question comes in the category of horror/thriller.
Horror movies.
Who stars as a journalist trying to discover the origins of the mysterious tape in 2002?
Oh my God. See, I'm bad with names. What's her name? I know this, but I don't know her name.
How are you doing? I want to make sure you're okay.
I'm honestly so excited.
It's blonde girl.
Looking at them here.
I know it, but I can't think of her name. See, I'm going to lose on ones like this.
Starting with you, Liz.
Naomi Watts.
That is correct. 1 point.
Damn it.
Naomi
Right.
Watts.
So far, so good, Ted.
Like stand-up
I told you my one flaw is
For that
actor
first laugh,
names.
You start feeling comfortable. Roxy, question number 2.
Question 2 in the category of action adventure. Which film in the Lethal Weapon franchise introduced Joe Pesci's Leo Getz?
Part 3.
Hmm.
Wait, part 2?
Uh,
Part 3.
Do I what?
I'm pretty sure it's part 3.
Never mind.
You ditched it.
Nah, I did.
All right. That's something I said.
If
No,
it's
no,
part
no,
2, and
five,
he might have been in it
four,
for like a
three,
brief second in part 2,
and
but I'm
one.
saying
And
part
down
3.
For answer starting with Debbie.
Lethal Weapon 3.
That is not right.
Ah, it was
Liz.
2.
Same answer.
Ooh, Weapon 2.
He was in it for a small part. They introduced him.
Or 3 or 4.
He's on the poster. for
Not a good
3.
start,
Numbers
guys.
aren't that far off.
Numbers are there for
What's a 3 but a bigger 2, you know?
Absolutely. That's what
At
they
least
taught me.
everyone said 3. I don't feel as bad. At least I'm
That's
here.
what they taught me on
Shin
Special
got
Street
it.
After dark. Question number 3 comes in the category of dramas. Dramas. Who played DJ in 2005's Hustle and Flow?
I'm assuming.
Friend of the show, Craig Brewer.
I know who it is.
Craig
I'm
Peters.
horrible at
I like
names.
the man
I'm
who
looking
did it.
horrible right
Oh,
now,
thank
guys.
you.
You're welcome.
What the hell is it?
Five,
Terrence Howard.
4,
Terrence Howard.
3.
If
2,
that's
and
DJ.
1. Looking for answer starting with Liz.
Terrence Howard?
That's correct for point. Debbie.
Terrence Howard.
DJ Qualls.
That's so close.
He's in the film.
So I got 1 point. 1 out of 3 so far, guys. Not doing
Never
good.
mind.
Question number 4 in the category of animated. Who voices the Grinch in the 2018 adaptation?
I never saw it.
We have another one?
Is it
The
me?
voice of the Grinch in the 2018.
That could be.
I never saw it, never heard anything about it. I am clueless.
3, 2, and
Bronson
1. Looking for answer
Pinchot
starting with
from Perfect
Benedict
Strangers.
Cumberbatch.
Cumberbatch.
Was he really? Holy crap.
Nearly ran out of time writing his name, Benedict Cumberbatch.
It is a long name. Long name.
Is he popular? or
Is he
something?
here? What's
Yeah, it's a powerful name. A lot of
Right now, it's 3 to 2, and I have 1. I'm
question comes in the category
not
of
doing good,
fantasy
guys.
Sci-fi. Fantasy sci-fi. Who plays the younger Joe in Looper?
What's his name? Why are there so many actor names? It's
I didn't see that,
Never did.
but I did see The Last Jedi 42 times.
I know every movie he's in.
Let's get Matt fight right now.
3, 2,
I hate
and
myself.
1. Looking for answers starting with Liz.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
That is correct.
Everyone is actor names. This is the most unfair challenge yet.
Who also, of course, played Slow and Low.
I know all the
on
people, I
Candlelight
just don't know the
in Last Jedi,
names.
My second favorite Star Wars film of all time.
I'm 1 out of 5.
What's your first?
Question number 6.
The Ewok Adventures. Question number 6.
In the category of comedies, which 2 films name 2 films in which Judd Apatow has directed his wife, Leslie Mann?
40.
I'll give you 20 seconds to write 2 of these films.
Well, I'll say Knocked Up and
Yeah.
This Is 40. Knocked Up and This Is 40 are definitely 2 of them. She's in a ton, though.
Sometimes that could be interesting, I'm sure.
We know that so well.
Yeah, not well.
See, I know stuff like that right away. When you tell me actors' names, I'm horrible.
Looking for answer started with Demi.
This is 40 and Knocked Up.
That's what I said.
This is 40 and Knocked Up.
Yes.
That's correct.
Oh, thank
Point there. You got it, Liz.
This is 40 and the 40-year-old virgin.
That is correct as well. 5 points.
I got 2 points.
Let's get some.
This is a horrible showing for me so far, guys.
From one of the films, or
No, he was just hungry.
And it is also a desire.
I think there's 8
Second
questions in
question
round
comes
1.
the category of directors. Directors.
Might be 10.
Who directed 2017's Phantom Thread?
One of my least favorite movies of that year.
Really?
Directed
It was,
2017's
yeah.
Phantom
It's got originally-
Thread.
It was actually the de facto sequel to the Phantom Menace. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Looking for answers.
Rob
starting with
Reiner.
Liz.
Paul Thomas Anderson.
Pizza.
Oh!
It's a point. Debbie.
recall
I did
Thomas
know
Anderson
that.
And then what the fuck, Roxy?
That is fair enough.
I actually did know that. That
For you, half point for you.
Made him swear.
It is 6-5. coming
I am
into
showing
the
my horrible flaws
the,
on movie knowledge
full
right
score
now.
First round, so we do
2
not
out of
have a
8
first
right
round,
now I got.
obviously. So 8th question, Roxy, hit it.
8th question.
Oh, no, 2 out of
Coming
7.
Age category. What 2002 drama follows a young Maori girl trying to claim her place as chief amongst a strictly patriarchal New Zealand tribe?
Well done.
They really tested my my verbiage.
What
there.
2002?
A lot of
Yeah.
good diction,
All the
pronunciation.
words.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Pocahontas?
and 1. Looking for answers, starting with Demi.
Whale Rider?
That's correct for points. Tie game.
Whale Rider.
Wow.
I've never seen or heard of that. Steph, you knew it?
Wow.
This is one of the most difficult ones I've ever seen. I think this is the worst I've ever done. At least you guys, I can only go up from here. It's horrible.
I don't care.
I've got 2 out of 8. They're 7 to 6 right now. There's a girl versus a guy, and the girl is 7 and the guy is 6. I'm 2.
Came out swinging. That is 7 to 6. Is a great first round, especially for your first competition here in the movie.
Well, at least you know I'm not cheating, guys. You can't say I'm a liar or I'm the worst liar ever.
The wheel round. And the wheel, well, she is a fickle mistress. You will be spinning for a category.
All right, I'll explain this one to you guys. Now because this takes a while. I'm just going to rewind it. They spin a wheel. I've got 1. Yeah, you got 1 so far, Ray? I got 2. How are you guys doing so far? Because I paused it and I'm like not watching. I thought about Whale Rider. See, I never even heard of Whale Rider. That's like I've 2002. I guess I was in college, so it makes sense that I probably was not paying attention to movies as much. But I've never even heard of it. Is it worth saying? Because recently, recently because the girl who was starred. That's interesting. She was in Game of Thrones. Whatchamacallit? I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, so the way this next round goes is they get up, they spin a wheel. The wheel, they have 1 chance to spin again unless it hits opponent's choice. If it's opponent's choice, you're done. Opponent picks any slice on the wheel they want. There's, I think, 12 slices, and it's got anything from James Bond category, Harry Potter, Star Wars, whatever category you land on, all of your questions are in that category for that person. Then the next person spins and the same. So whatever they spin now, all those questions are going to be based on that category. So I'm going to go a little ahead, see what he spins, and then we will go from there. So this is going to be 2 points if you could guess it without multiple choice. If he goes to multiple choice, it's 1 point, and then you have a better chance of obviously getting it. Right now, I have 2 points. I don't know if anybody else has more than that, but if you do, props to you, because I should have got Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I'm very mad about Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I should have got Naomi Watts. I know both of them. I can name you 20 movies they're each in. I'm very upset that I missed those, but it is what it is. I have 2. It's also very hard when you're under the time constraints and the pressure, but that's bullshit. I should have got him. So here we go. And Terrence Howard, I only knew that because I knew he was in the movie and I figured it's got to be Terrence Howard. I wasn't sure if he was DJ, but here we go. The guy has spun. I didn't see the category yet.
You will be spinning.
Oh, I accidentally clicked the thing. Here we go. All right, so here's his pick.
New releases, Demi. New releases will be
new releases. The category is new releases.
These are movies released in the last 12 to 18 months.
The last 12 to 18 months.
12 to 18 months. Roxy, 4 questions for Demi. If you want to administer the questions, please be my guest.
Well, thank you so much, sir. Question number 1. In Ready Player One, what Atari 2600 game had to be beaten in order to receive the final Easter egg and be awarded the last?
Was it E.T.?
All right, someone didn't play video games in the 80s.
Yeah,
That's
no.
fine. Demi?
I'm going to say, for now,
Joust.
I'm saying E.T.
That is incorrect.
See, he could have went to multiple choice, but he didn't. That's the other
Can you
thing.
repeat the question?
In Ready Player One, what Atari 2600 game had to be beaten in order to receive the final
Sword?
Easter egg and be awarded the last key?
I'm just saying E.T. I'm not sure, obviously. I'm not
Space Invaders.
Incorrect. We're looking for Adventure. Adventure.
Ray got it.
All right.
Adventure.
Demi, question number 2.
Who directed 2018's Venom?
Ruben Fleischer.
2 points.
Well, that guy didn't give me enough time, but I wouldn't have got that anyway. I am miserable, guys.
Question, come down.
In The Hate You Give, who plays the police officer that is Star's Uncle Carlos?
I've never even heard of this movie. In
What
The
is this
Hate.
again?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Common?
2 more points.
Correct.
2 more points. Fourth and final question in this round.
I'm just miserable.
Who played Queen's manager John Reed in Bohemian
Oh,
Rhapsody?
Michael Myers?
Uh,
Michael Myers, right?
Aidan Gillen?
That's correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
the guy from Game of Thrones. I'm thinking of the other guy. All right, this guy's got 12 points right now. I've got 2. Guys, I promise you, thank God there's only a couple of you in the room because I am doing miserable. It is 12. Now that guy's round's over. Now the girl's spinning.
So, my bad. The spin is in. The spin is in. It is coming down to.
She got movie release dates, but she could spin again. All
I feel that.
right, she's respinning it.
Okay. Oh, it was like a triple spin. I like that.
She's respinning. Movie release dates is considered the hardest category. They give you a movie and you need to name the year. It is much harder than it sounds.
Lot of spin
As the kids say, slay, queen.
All right. It is going.
She got Spielberg movies. Steven Spielberg movies.
And we should say that category was provided to us by patron.
And I'm just going to pause it for a second. Now, like I said, these are 2 pointers if you don't go to multiple choice. It is 12-7. So there's 4 questions. She could take a huge lead here. I need some points because I don't even think I have a chance of beating either of these people. All right, we're just going to go with it.
Brian Kemet. Your name's in lights. Thanks for supporting. Patreon.com/Schmoedown there. All right, let's go to 4 questions for you, Liz, in the category of Steven Spielberg films. And again, Demi, you have the opportunity to steal if she misses the answers. All right. First question. Who plays Wade Watts in Steven Spielberg's adaptation of...
I don't know the actor's name. See, this is my worst.
Multiple choice, please.
Donald Gleason, Tom Holland, Ty Sheridan.
Jacob. When I see it, I know
That's correct.
Ty Sheridan. So that's 1 point for me.
You get 1 point.
I know the name when I see it. I just am horrible at actor names.
What is the nickname given to the gifted humans who can predict future crimes in
Precogs.
Precogs.
That's correct for 2 points.
2 points. All right, I'm up to 5 now. That was quick. I got 5.
Classic Community College. All right. Third question. What MCU actor plays Captain Nichols, the Army officer who buys Joey for use in the war in Warhorse?
Captain Nichols. What MCU
Tom
actor?
Hiddleston.
That's correct for 2 more points. Tie game. Fourth and final question in round 2 here.
I don't remember that at all.
In E.T., what kind of animal was Elliot's science class supposed to dissect, but instead let loose
frog?
in the classroom?
A frog.
That is correct for 2.
7 points. They're still killing me. Right now I got 7.
14-12. Roxy, what do you think about that round 2?
Pretty amazing competitors right now. I mean, everything.
All right, so that's round 2 is over. I have 7. The guy has 12. The girl has 14. Now this third round, I'm going to explain to you. I could pull ahead, but very unlikely. The way round 3 goes is you are given a 2-pointer, a 3-pointer, and a 5-pointer. They progressively get more difficult. So the 5-pointer is very hard, obviously. So it's not like they're throwing you a freebie, but the whatchamacallit, you don't get multiple choice. You just got to know, and you got like 10 seconds to answer. And like I said, they get increasingly more difficult. The categories are determined on the numbers you pick. I think it's 1 to 24. They pick, I got 5 so far. So you're not doing much work. I mean, I feel like I'm doing pretty bad, even though that's probably roughly half. At the end there, I start banging them out. If you do the math, like 80% of what I missed was actors' names. That's horrible. Like, I am miserable at actors' names. Like I said, when they said Ty Sheridan's name, I know right away. If they said Naomi Watts, I would have known Naomi Watts. If they said Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I would have known Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I just need to see it. I could picture the actor, and I can name 100 movies he's in. That's why if you guys watch The Wire and Umbrella Academy, I'm always like, that guy's in this, that guy's in that. Rarely do I know their names unless they're mainstream. Anyway, the way they get the categories in the third round, this is the final round, is you pick the numbers 1 to 24. I think whoever's leading gets first pick, and then the other guy, and then it's just luck of the draw. So everyone's got 5. I've got 7, barely eking you guys out. That's one question. I got one more question than you guys. So I'm happy you're all honest with me. I guess there's no sense in like lying, right? We're all friends here. I feel like a fool with 7. So whatever. I'm the one here praising myself with movie knowledge. You guys aren't. So I'm miserable. But here we go. They're going to pick their numbers, and then we get the categories, and then that's it. And then they pick a winner. Now, championship rounds have 2 extra rounds that I won't even get into. But if the championship round comes up, you guys will at least have a better understanding. And I'll wait till it comes out, and I'll do another one of these if you guys enjoy it. I'll also do a reaction to one of them so you guys could see for yourself how it goes if you don't feel like watching the channel or whatever. So here we go. This is going to be round 3. I'm just getting it brought up to the thing. All right, here we go.
Your questions are going to come up first, or at least
this is a
first question,
2-pointer.
2 points. The category that you selected is Meryl Streep.
That's like 100,000 movies. You can hear the people hype up.
We chant for the darndest things here. All right, Meryl Streep. Your first question, 2 points. Roxy, take it away.
Nora Ephron directed Meryl Streep and Amy Adams in what 2009 drama?
Julie and Julia?
That's correct.
That's on my to watch list, but I've never seen it. Julie and Julia.
Going back to Liz now. And Liz, your first question.
2-pointer for her.
Administering here is you chose number 15, which is coming of age. Coming of age.
Right now they're tied.
Liz, here you go to take the lead. Name the actor who played the jock in The Breakfast Club.
Emilio Estevez.
That is right.
2 points.
Estevez, 2 points. We got that, but we can't have a Young Guns question, Chris.
See, I have to get it before her too, because I know people know it.
14. We go back to Demi. For your 3-point question.
3 points.
Number 8, which corresponds to the category of Hitchcock. Alfred Hitchcock, the films of
These are such
Hitchcock.
bizarre
3-point
categories.
question coming your way from Roxy.
James Stewart plays a character by the name of L.B. Jeffries in which Hitchcock film?
Vertigo. I'm just going to guess. Vertigo.
Incorrect.
That was weird.
Rear Window.
Yeah.
Rear Window. Didn't get it all.
Good
right.
job, Steph.
This is a make or break moment here for Demi. He's got his 5.
Now, if this guy doesn't get his 5-point, it's over. The girl's got him beat by 2. If he misses it, game over. But if he gets it, she has to get her next 2.
On her here. You chose number 18, which is the 2000s. The 2000s.
Category is the 2000s.
Year 2000.
Good
All
note.
right. Roxy, 5-point question coming down.
This could be it.
For Demi.
They usually give him a little more time.
In dodgeball, how does Average Joe's coach Patches O'Houlihan
The sign in Vegas falls on him and crushes him in his wheelchair. This guy doesn't know it, though. I'm not going to be able to win because I can't get more points.
He's hit by a vehicle?
No. The girl won.
Winner by a final score of 16-14. Lightning with Shannon Miller.
The girl won. I'd never seen her before either. She's new. See, now they all celebrate, and then they do like behind the scenes. They do like that. I'm just going to end it there because it's already going on too long. But yeah, they basically then take the winner and the loser. They bring them in the back, and just like WWE style wrestling, they shit talk the crap out of each other. Like this girl's going to pound him into the ground now because she didn't even have to answer her 5-point question. They also have what's called TKOs and KOs. If you are leading for my example, had I been on the show, I would have got TKO'd because I wouldn't have had enough points to even make it to round 3 in this situation. So I wouldn't even, if you don't even make it to round 3, it's a KO. If you make it to round 3, but the other person doesn't even have to answer a question. It's a TKO. So most people at least make it to round 3 because you get a 2-pointer, a 3-pointer, a 5-pointer. That's 10 potential points. So the odds of someone having a 10-point lead at that point is not likely because they're all pretty knowledgeable of movies. But if they don't, you get a KO. If you make it to round 3, but you answer all your questions wrong and the other person doesn't have to answer, it's a TKO. I think it's a pretty cool format. Like I said, championship rounds, they had a 4th round where it's a buzzer round where you literally are neck and neck and they just ask questions and you got boom, boom, boom. And if you buzz, you got 1 second to answer. There's no thought process. You can't be like, ET. Like you got to be like, boom, ET. And if you miss or you hit it and you can't say it quick enough, you lose a point. So the buzzer round gets really intense because you could potentially, I've seen rounds where people have gone in with like 8-point leads and just were slap happy and lost 5 or 6 points. And the other guy gets 1 or 2 and now it's an even game. So the buzzer round gets intense. And then there's another round, a 5th round where you bet up to, I think 5 points. Whatever you bet, you either win or lose. And if you get it wrong, you deduct those points. So it gets much more strategic because if you have a huge lead, you want to try to hold your lead. But at the same token, if you have a huge lead and you bet 0 points and the other guy does 5, they could come back like with 1 question. So I watch these for years. I think they're really well done. I'm not kidding you. I'm not exaggerating. This might be the worst I've ever done. Even though I did get the 5-pointer at the end. So I technically got, what I get 9. So I got 14. The guy has 14 and the girl had 16. So my point is, if you get those 5-pointers, you're back in the game. So technically I tied the guy and the girl won 16. That girl was pretty good. So honestly, she would have beat me. All I needed to do was know Naomi Watts' name or Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and I was back in. But basically that's the luck of the draw. So I'm not kidding you. I've never seen so many actors' names in one. I literally tell you guys how actors' names are my flaw. And like 80% of those questions were actors' names. Never are there that many, but at least you guys got to see what it's all about. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I don't know. I'm going to like read up and down real quick in case. Yeah, sure. Unsubscribe. Yeah. So, I mean, this was honestly a way to get in touch with you guys in a live format. I wanted you guys to see what I do. I wanted to hopefully show you guys that I knew it up my shit, but apparently I don't. But that's what happens. See, people go on these shows all the time and they're like, I'm like the friggin' best. I watch these all the time, just like I did. And you get humbled by things like that. So it's the luck of the draw. Some of them I get everyone right. Some of them are like this, where it wasn't bad, but I'd usually do much better than this. So if you guys are interested in these, you now know what it consists of. You got to check out some of my Monster Mania toys. You got to see other things. We got to talk about James Gunn and stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if the other one releases, I'll probably try to do another live thing tonight. So it was also bad timing. Everyone's probably at 4:00. Still beat us all, I think, right? Unless a lot of you guys got the last ones, I probably did pretty good as far as you guys go. But like, these are also people in the industry that know their shit. So like getting beaten by them, I'm like, I'm just your average Joe. Average Joe. That was not even intentional. But yeah, guys. So I really appreciate you watching. Steph, thanks for watching. You are great. Everyone else, Snow and Shin and whoever else I might have missed. I don't know. Some of you might not have talked. There was probably 2 or 3 other people earlier, but you may looking forward to the wire. All right, Snow. Yeah, I'll definitely have a wire out later tonight or at least tomorrow, the latest. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'm going to cut this off. You probably will see me mess around for a little more because I have to figure it out. But thanks for watching. I'm also going to post this. So like I said, people were probably at work when it started and couldn't get on and stuff like that. So it's my first time live. I hope you liked it. Peace.